American automakers have something almost no company in the world enjoys: total protection from their most dangerous competitor. A 100% tariff wall keeps BYD, the Chinese company that just became the largest electric vehicle maker on Earth, completely out of the United States. No dealerships, no showrooms, not one BYD badge on an American road. And American cars are still losing the argument. The wall isn't universal either. Canada, watching the same competitor, chose a narrower gate instead of a solid one. A tariff quota system that lets in a capped number of Chinese EVs a year at a fraction of the American rate. It's a smaller experiment, but it's the closest thing to a controlled test of what happens when the wall comes down just enough to let the price gap through. Walk into a Ford or GM showroom today and look at what your money buys. Now look at what a BYD buyer gets in Mexico and Brazil and Thailand and Europe for a fraction of the price. A car with a bigger screen, a longer warranty on the battery, faster charging, and build quality that reviewers keep comparing to brands twice its cost. Americans are protected from ever seeing that price tag directly, and their own industry still can't match it. That's the part that doesn't add up. If competition were the problem, a tariff wall should have solved it. It didn't. So something else is going on inside the price of an American car, something the tariff can't fix. To understand what that is, you have to understand how BYD builds a car in the first place. Because the answer isn't marketing and it isn't cheap labor. It's the way the entire vehicle is put together, from the mine to the assembly line. For most of the last century, the rule in the auto industry was simple. A car company designs the car, then buys almost everything inside it from someone else. Each supplier adds its own margin before the part ever reaches the factory floor, and every one of those margins becomes part of the price you pay. That's just how a modern car gets built. It's tempting to credit lower wages for that price gap, but labor is a small slice of what a modern car actually costs. Most of the sticker price is the parts themselves. And that's exactly the piece BYD stopped outsourcing. BYD doesn't. BYD didn't begin as a car company. It began as a battery company in 1995. And when it entered the auto industry, it brought one unusual idea with it. Why keep paying suppliers if you can become the supplier yourself? So BYD never stopped at batteries. First, it kept making its own battery cells instead of buying them from companies like Cattle or LG. Then it built its own semiconductor division in 2004, years before the global chip shortage exposed how dependent the rest of the industry had become. While other automakers would eventually find themselves bidding against each other for scarce chips, BYD was already producing many of its own, but it didn't stop there. It began manufacturing its own electric motors, then its own power electronics. Still not enough. Eventually, BYD even built its own fleet of giant car carrier ships, giving it control over how finished vehicles reached overseas markets instead of paying shipping companies and waiting for cargo space. Piece by piece, something remarkable was happening. Most car companies assemble vehicles from parts supplied by dozens, sometimes hundreds of independent companies. Every supplier adds another profit margin before a single bolt reaches the factory floor. BYD kept removing those suppliers one after another. By the time a finished car rolled off the production line, the company controlled almost everything that mattered, from the battery inside the vehicle to the ship carrying it across the ocean. Industry insiders now describe this as a mine-to-port system. That ownership became invaluable during the global chip shortage in 2021. While factories around the world slowed down because they couldn't secure enough semiconductors, BYD kept producing many of the chips it needed itself. That's the first obstacle most automakers can never fully escape. They don't own the most expensive parts inside their cars. Every outside supplier sets a floor under the final price. BYD removed much of that floor by eliminating the suppliers instead. It's the same reason a restaurant that grows its own vegetables can charge less for a salad than one buying from 3 different wholesalers. Cut out enough intermediate hands and the savings show up on the final price. But owning the supply chain only explains why BYD avoids other people's markups. It doesn't explain why the actual battery, usually the single most expensive part of an electric car, got so much cheaper to make in the first place. That required a different kind of breakthrough, one that changes the physical shape of the battery itself. Most electric car batteries are built in modules. Individual cells get packed into small groups. Those groups get wrapped in protective casing, and the modules get bolted into a larger pack. It's a safe design, but it's also wasteful. All that internal casing and wiring takes up space and adds weight without storing a single extra mile of range. BYD's answer was something it calls the blade battery. Instead of building modules, BYD arranges long, thin battery cells directly into the pack, skipping the module stage entirely. That single change lets the pack use its interior space roughly 50% more efficiently, which means more range from the same size battery or the same range from a smaller, cheaper one. The chemistry helped just as much as the shape. BYD builds the blade battery from lithium iron phosphate instead of the nickel cobalt manganese blends most rivals rely on, skipping cobalt entirely, a metal that's expensive, hard to source, and has driven battery costs for over a decade. It's also proven stable enough to survive a direct nail penetration test without catching fire, the exact failure people assumed was unavoidable in an electric car. That battery program keeps improving, but the part that matters to price stays simple. Every upgrade gets made in-house without paying another company to do it. So now you have a company that owns its own battery supply chain, builds that battery in a shape that wastes less material, and uses a chemistry that skips the most expensive ingredient other manufacturers depend on. Stack those 3 advantages together, and industry estimates suggest BYD can produce a comparable battery pack for roughly 20 to 25% less than a traditional automaker paying an outside supplier. On a car where the battery is the single biggest cost, that gap alone can be the difference between a vehicle priced like a luxury product and one priced like a mainstream sedan. That saving doesn't stay locked inside the battery pack either. Because BYD isn't paying a markup on the single most expensive component in the car, it has room to add the things a traditionally priced automaker would have to cut to hit the same sticker price. The bigger screen, the extra driver assistance sensors, the nicer interior trim, all funded by money that never left the company in the first place. None of this would matter if BYD couldn't build enough cars to make the savings count. A cheaper battery design is only powerful at scale, and BYD has that scale. Production has grown into the millions of vehicles a year, spreading every fixed cost across a volume most automakers can't match. BYD didn't just benefit from battery prices falling industry-wide. Its own scale helped drive them down. Scale does something else too. It lets BYD spread the cost of inventing the blade battery in the first place across millions of vehicles instead of a few hundred thousand, which is part of why the technology reached mainstream prices as fast as it did. American automakers feel that pressure whether or not a single BYD car ever reaches their dealerships, because the real question was never about winning buyers. It's about matching a cost structure they don't have. The tariff wall didn't close that gap, it just kept American companies from ever having to prove they could. Put the full chain together and the picture becomes clear. Own the battery instead of buying it. Redesign the battery to waste less material. Choose a chemistry that skips the most expensive metal. Then build millions of them a year so every fixed cost gets diluted almost to nothing. Each step by itself saves a percentage. Stacked together across an entire vehicle, They add up to the gap that lets BYD put driver assistance systems, panoramic displays, and premium interiors into cars that undercut Western rivals by thousands of dollars, while still turning a profit. That's why the tariff wall changes nothing about the underlying math. A 100% tax on a Chinese-built car can price BYD out of a specific country, but it can't hand an American automaker BYD's battery chemistry, its in-house chip division, or its 4 million unit factory floor. The wall protects American companies from direct price competition. It does nothing to close the cost gap that made that competition dangerous in the first place. And everywhere, that wall doesn't exist. Mexico, where BYD now sells more EVs and plug-in hybrids than any other brand. Latin America, Southeast Asia, and a growing slice of Europe. That gap is on full display, forcing established brands to either cut their own prices or watch their market share shrink. So the real answer to why BYD makes American cars look overpriced has nothing to do with cheap labor and nothing to do with unfair subsidies alone. It comes down to a company that decided decades ago to stop buying the pieces of its cars and start owning every one of them, then use that ownership to make the single most expensive component in an electric vehicle both lighter and cheaper. Detroit is protected from ever having to answer that challenge directly inside its own borders. It still hasn't found a way to answer it anywhere else. Every rival automaker still has to ask a supplier for a battery, a chip, a spot on a cargo ship, and pay whatever premium that supplier decides to charge. BYD stopped asking. That's the entire gap in one sentence. And it was never a gap in quality. It was a gap in who owned the pieces. So when did you stop assuming American cars were simply better built than BYD? Tell us in the comments. Thanks for watching.